Are the days of the Northeastern Council numbered? Will it be restructured to function in a different way? Or is a new development superstructure for the Northeast in the offing? Well, if the remarks made by top economist and the chairman of the Prime Minister's Economic Advisor Council, Bibek Debroy, are an indication, the government may well be looking into such possibilities. Well, let's listen into what Bibek Debroy had to say in an exclusive conversation with Northeast Live Editor-in-Chief Wasbir Hussain.
When we talk about the Northeast, we have a separate ministry, called DONA. Under DONA, there is a superstructure called the Northeastern Council, which is there from the 70s, a 70s era kind of an institution. Now, what is the relevance of an institution like the Northeastern Council? Because a lot of people don't have much good things to say. Let me be blunt, because only a blunt question can perhaps lead to a proper, honest answer. And you are also equally blunt in your responses. You don't shy away from taking any questions, but you may or may not answer. That's your prerogative. My question is, Northeastern Council, not many people have good things to say, because they're saying that they are embroiled in bureaucratic red tape, and there are a lot of allegations of corruption and so on and so forth. We have donor and we have NEC. Yes, NEC works under donor, but these are structures that are adding to the red tape and adding to the retarding of development actually.
I'm not going to comment on NEC and donor directly, but let me make this point. You need some kind of institutional mechanism for the Northeast. And we know that NEC and donor are not performing that very efficiently. This does not mean that you do not need an institutional structure. You do need an institutional structure, because sometimes there will be projects, maybe in transport, which transcend more than one state. So who takes that decision? Sometimes maybe there may be issues of disputes between states. So one does need some kind of mechanism. And by the way, the mandate of the Niti Aayog does provide for the existence of a regional council, which will transcend.
Is that the NEC, or is it something new?
It should transcend the NEC.
Yes.
Let me ask you the following question. Yes. This is you said blunt question, blunt answer. Why does a governor, what is the role of a governor in attending a NEC meeting? The role of a governor predates the creation of the states.
Absolutely.
So why is the governor?
The chief ministers.
Precisely.
Who are directly involved
Precisely. Now please, it should not be interpreted that the chairman of the Prime Minister's Economic Advisory Council has said this. I am just posing the question that all of us should ask ourselves. We have reduced.
With all due respect to the constitutional post of the governor.
We have reduced some of these to just ornamental roles, and we need to ask, yes, there will be public expenditure that will come into the Northeast. What is the best delivery mechanism for that, bearing in mind the interests of the Northeast as a whole and not just that of individual states?
Well, Bibek Debroy is also optimistic that India can become a 5 trillion economy within the stipulated deadline, and that Prime Minister Narendra Modi's vision can indeed become a reality.
You look a very happy man today. The country has just passed its budget with that massive boost given to the people of this country, that India will become a $5 trillion economy in just a couple of years. And you are one of those economists in the country. Yes, there will be skeptics, but you are not one of them. You are an optimist. You have said that that is indeed achievable. What is the source of your confidence that we can easily achieve this target as enunciated by Prime Minister Narendra Modi?
I'm happy. Not just because of the budget, I'm happy because we are having a chat after a fairly long time.
Absolutely. Always a pleasure to have you on the show.
Now, when one looks at a figure like 5 trillion, that figure is in dollars. So therefore, there is an issue of an exchange rate. If the exchange rate depreciates, the target becomes a little bit more difficult. If the exchange rate appreciates, it becomes a little bit more easy. But let's leave that technicality aside. To get that 5 trillion figure, we have a base, and the base last year was about 2.7 trillion.
Right.
Which means we need a rate of growth of about 12% per year. Now that 12% is in nominal terms because the GDP is in nominal terms. The inflation rate and the targeted inflation rate as per the RBI is 4%. So if I take away 4% from 12%, I get about 8%. The economic survey has told us that over the last 5 years, we have done 7.5 real rate of growth. Last year was a slowdown, but as a trend over the last 5 years, we have done 7.5. So the question is of going up from 7.5 to 8%. That is not very difficult, and I will just mention one. Because we are looking at 2024, 2025, we are not looking at further down the line when one can talk about efficient land markets, labor markets. There is plenty of slack within the system. There are states, particularly in the eastern parts of India, which have not grown that fast.
We'll talk about that. But long and short of what you were saying, Dr. Bibek Debroy, is this that it is achievable. You were saying that we need a growth rate of 12%, but if you took the RBI inflation rate at 4%, you minus that 4%, and you need a target of 8.5%. 8.5%. Since we are now at 7.5%, just 1% is not a big thing. That's what you were saying.
That's what I'm saying.